game of basketball. Everyone knows how Golden State's Golden Boy altered the fabric of the league itself by showing just how efficient long-range shooting can be with his ability to drain mind-bending triples from anywhere on the court. The way his team has found such massive success with their style of play destroyed positional boundaries that have existed since the league began. Positionless basketball is the way everyone plays now, and that's all thanks to Steph. But what gets lost in the shuffle is just how great Stephen Curry is. Despite him crafting the very constitution of positionless basketball for himself, at the end of the day, we consider him to be a point guard. We get so caught up in the fact that he changed the way a team's lead guard can play, that we fail to realize that he can quite possibly has a case for the best to ever play it. Before anything else, hey guys, it's Nico. It would be awesome if you guys could like this video since it greatly helps the channel, and let's aim for 500 likes today. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit the sub button for more great NBA content. With that out of the way, for today's video, I'm going to be making my case for Wardell Stephen Curry as the greatest point guard in NBA history. It may sound outlandish, I'm sure, but I feel as though people write him off too early just because he's different, which is basically the theme of Stephen Curry's entire career. Let's start with what we already know about Steph before we get to what we don't: his shooting. Stephen Curry is a career 43.5% three-point shooter. That ranks as 6th in the all-time history of the league. But when you look at players like Steve Kerr, who leads history in outside shooting at 45.4%, he only shot 1.8 threes per game. The low volume goes for number 3, 2.4 three-point attempts for Hubert Davis, and number 5, Drazen Petrovic as well, both shooting just about 2 threes per contest. Can you even imagine the most efficient shooters in NBA history taking just 2 threes a game? Definitely not, and that's thanks to Steph. But even against his modern-day peers, we can't properly compare him. Both Duncan Robinson and his brother Seth rank higher than him on the all-time list. But the way they got those threes could not be any more different.
Life is full of challenges, but you don't have to pad thai them alone. Talk to your pad thai today to find out if pad thai is right for pad thai pad thai.
When all you can pad thai is think about, Postmates. Sign up today and get 30 days of unlimited free delivery.
Ready to dunk.
Because your passion never runs out, you deserve monthly income.
For this one, I'm pulling up Steph's 18-19 season, since that's the last season games. Both Duncan and Seth will obviously be coming from this year. Looking at the stats on how they make their shots from beyond the arc, the three-pointers that Seth makes were assisted by his teammates 78.7% of the time. Meanwhile, Robinson's threes were assisted 95.9% of the time. Meanwhile, for Steph's threes were only assisted 69.1% of the time. Meaning Curry will usually be pulling up from 3 while coming off the dribble, and usually with the main focus on the defense on him. The difficulty of the shots he takes is way different from the other shooters in the league, and that gives him the edge over anybody. Stephen Curry is the only one in the top 10 all-time who isn't a specialist spot-up guy. The other comparable all-time shooters are so far behind that I'm honestly a bit surprised with what I saw. Ray Allen is at 47th place in the list at 40% of his career, while Reggie Miller is even lower at 61st with his 39.5%. Not only did they not even sniff Steph's efficiency, but they also relied on screen curls and off-ball movement to get free. They relied on someone else to pass them the ball, while Steph did it all by himself most of the time. People don't give Steph enough credit for the one skill he's known for. He's not just the best shooter of all time, he's on another planet. Not only is Steph going to go down as the greatest shooter of all time, he's going to leave his name on so many NBA records just to make sure we never forget. We just talked about Steph's shooting, so it's no surprise that he holds the widest array of NBA records from downtown. Get ready for some NBA record vomit served up by Chef Curry. He holds the record for fewest games played to reach 1,000 and 2,000 career three-pointers of 369 and 597. Proving it's not just a late three-point revolution that brought Curry his success, but rather a revolution he really started even as a young player, still on his rookie deal. Curry also holds a record for fastest player to get to 100 threes in a single season. notching a century mark's worth of threes in just 20 games. This despite James Harden putting in his best effort the last couple of years of taking as many as he possibly can. The Beard still came up short last season when he was attempting a record-breaking number of attempts of his own. He made 98 threes in 20 games, but it took far more attempts for him to do it, showing just how efficient Curry is from deep. Curry's magnificent 15-16 season also brought him the record for most threes in a single season with 402 made in total. That's 5.1 threes per contest in his 79 games played. Now, I really got sucked on the deep end in looking through Steph's stats, and this is what I found. Curry holds a few unique records in terms of achieving statistical marks in both three-pointers and assist categories in consecutive games. He doesn't just hold a couple of these. Steph holds 6 of these atypical box scores to thoroughly dominate this category. He has the most consecutive games with the following statistical marks. This just goes to show how overall unique Steph is as a player. He's the best at the three-pointer, but also makes sure to stay productive in other areas of the game in the process. Curry uses the threat of his three-point shot to effectively find his teammates for open looks. If you take a look at the unique stats that he has put up, it's incredible to see how he's not just a shooter, but also a player who can create looks for his teammates. Curry isn't just good from beyond the arc. He's a master from behind the charity stripe as well. He has a career free throw percentage of 90.56%, which is the best in NBA history so far. He belongs on the list of 3 all-time shooters with the Phoenix Suns, Steve Nash 90.42%, and Cleveland Cavaliers Mark Price with 90.39%, as the only players to break the 90% barrier in NBA history. Jose Calderon, however, holds the record for highest percentage in a single season at 98.1%. But the fact is, Steph Curry is a model for consistency as he maintained this mark throughout his long career. During last year's playoffs, Stephen Curry set a pretty impressive new record. Although they eventually fell to the Toronto Raptors in the finals, Curry left his mark on history a different way. He officially surpassed Ray Allen for most three-pointers in their playoff career. He did this in the very first game of the first round against the Los Angeles Clippers. Allen's record was at 385, while Curry sat at 378 prior to the game, needing 8 threes to beat the record. In typical Curry fashion, Steph did it in just one game. He drained 5 triples in the first half and 3 in the second half for 38 points and the all-time mark. Curry then proceeded to obliterate the record, ending the 2019 NBA playoffs with 473s in total. Safe to say that Steph's going to do his part to ensure his record stands for much longer than Ray Allen's. But just the fact that Steph is such an amazing shooter blinds people from seeing just how good of an overall player he truly is. If you had to pick one current player to get the bucket at the rim on a dribble drive, who would you pick? You can't go wrong with Giannis or LeBron, right? Kevin Durant is also a good option when he's healthy. How far down the list would you fall? With bigger players like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, or Kawhi Leonard on the board, before you choose Steph on the drive. In the last 6 seasons since they have tracked play-specific scoring, Curry's 17-18 season ranks in the top 5 in single-season points per possession on drives to the rim. His 1.28 on drives ranks 5th behind just 18-19 version of Giannis, the 18-19 version of Blake, the 13-14 version of Kevin Durant, and 13-14 version of LeBron James. Basically, it's Steph and 4 guys who look like they could just bench press Stephen Curry. Steph is also voted at the rim score as the best guys in the league, but we never give him credit for it just because everybody would rather see him shoot threes. The game plan for Steph has always been to run him off the line, but that really doesn't work as well as people expect. Curry is also a better passer than people realize. His career marks of 6.6 assists per game doesn't look all that impressive on paper, but it actually ranks him as the 37th highest career average of all time. People might say that it's partly because he's had such great teammates, so of course he'll get a lot of assists passing to play at KD, but on the contrary, the talent around him has neutered his assist total significantly. Ever since Draymond peaked in 2015, he's averaged about 7 assists per game. Durant, as a member of the Golden State Warriors, gets 5.5 assists per game. Imagine Stephen Curry dominating possessions just like Russell Westbrook did in OKC. How many assists do you think he would get then? Now that we have settled what makes Steph great, let's see where he stands within the tapestry of the NBA's storied history. Curry is a 2-time MVP and won the award back-to-back in 2015 and unanimously in 2016. The list of players who have ever done that is a who's who of the NBA's greatest players. Wilt, Russell, Kareem, Jordan, Duncan, and LeBron. are the names that define the different eras of the league. The only other point guards on that list are Magic Johnson and Steve Nash. Steph has also won 3 titles. The only other star point guards to do the same since 1963 is a short list. There's Magic Johnson, Tony Parker, and Dennis Johnson. We can obviously conclude that Steph has had a greater career than Parker or DJ, but Magic is of course the gold standard when talking about the all-time greatest point guards of all time. Although Magic has clearly reached the mountaintop of NBA basketball numerous times, both in terms of championships and individual MVP seasons, what's